This is the story of something that really happened. I am going to tell you, and I want you to listen carefully. Every word matters. It all started on a rainy night. A night that looked normal at first, but turned into something I will never forget. My best friend Ravi and I were driving back from a small village. We had gone there to visit his aunt. She lived in a quiet place, far from the city. We stayed for a day, ate good food, talked, and had fun. But it got late, and we had to drive back home before midnight. We took the long road through the forest. It was shorter than the highway, but also lonelier. There were no streetlights and no shops or gas stations nearby. Just trees, hills, and an empty road. As we drove, the sky turned darker. Then it started to rain. At first, it was soft, just a drizzle. But slowly, the rain became heavier. Thick drops of water hit the car roof, making a loud tapping sound. We turned the wipers on full speed, but still couldn't see clearly. Everything outside was foggy and wet. The road became slippery. We slowed down and drove carefully. There were no other cars around, only us. No houses, no lights, just rain, trees, and the sound of the car moving through the wet road. Suddenly the car began to shake. Something felt wrong. Ravi stopped the car at the side of the road. "What's happening?" I asked. "I think we have a flat tire," Ravi said. We got out and checked. Yes, one of the back tires was completely flat. We looked in the trunk for the spare tire, but it was missing. We had forgotten to fix it last month. That was our mistake. Now we were stuck. It was raining hard. Our phones had no signal, and we were in the middle of nowhere. We couldn't call for help. The road was too empty. We sat in the car, thinking, what to do? "Let's wait until morning," Ravi said. "Maybe someone will pass by." But it was cold, and the inside of the car felt damp and uncomfortable. We couldn't sleep like this. "Let's find a place to stay. Even a small shelter would help," I said. That's when we saw something, far away, in the fog and rain. A light. It looked like a house, a small one, hidden behind trees. We looked at each other. "Let's go check it out," Ravi said. We took our jackets, covered our heads, and began walking toward the light. The mud was thick, and our shoes got soaked. The rain hit our faces like sharp needles. But we kept walking. As we got closer, the house became clearer. It was old, with wooden walls and a slanted roof. The paint was peeling. The windows were fogged. But one of them had a warm yellow light shining through. It felt strange. Who would live out here, in the middle of nowhere? We reached the front porch and knocked on the door. The wood felt wet and soft. For a moment, no one answered. Then the door opened slowly. A woman stood there. She looked like she was in her 60s. Her hair was white, tied in a bun. Her face had deep lines, but she had a gentle smile. "You boys are wet and cold. Come in before you catch a cold," she said in a soft voice. We didn't want to be rude, and honestly, we were freezing. So we stepped inside. The house smelled old, like wet wood and something else I couldn't name. But there was a fire burning in the fireplace and the warmth felt good. She gave us towels and blankets. "Thank you," I said. "Our car broke down nearby. We didn't know where to go." She just smiled and nodded. "It happens a lot here." Her words sounded odd, but we were too tired to think. She told us her name was Mira. She said she lived alone ever since her husband passed away years ago. Her voice was soft. Her eyes didn't blink much. She offered us some tea, but we said no. We just wanted to dry off and rest. Ravi sat near the fire. I looked around the room. It was filled with old things, clocks, photos, books. Everything felt frozen in time. I should have felt safe, but I didn't. There was something wrong. I just didn't know what. Not yet. And that was only the beginning. So where were we? Oh yes. Ravi and I had entered the house in the rain. A woman named Mira welcomed us in. She looked kind at first, an old lady with white hair and a gentle smile. She gave us blankets, told us to dry off and sit near the fire. It felt better inside than being out in the storm. The house was quiet and still. But there was something about it. Something strange. It was too quiet. There was no sound of a clock ticking, no radio, not even the sound of rain anymore. Only the soft crackling of the fire. That's it. Ravi seemed tired. He sat on a wooden chair near the fire and closed his eyes. I looked around. The walls were filled with old photos. Some were black and white, and the people in the pictures didn't look happy. Most of them weren't smiling. Some of the pictures were faded, and I couldn't even see the faces clearly. There were also strange objects on the shelves. Dolls with missing eyes, broken watches, and dusty books in languages I couldn't understand. I felt uncomfortable. "Where's your bathroom?" I asked Mira. "Down the hall. First door on your right," she said, still smiling. I walked down the hallway. It was narrow and dark. The lights were dim, and the air smelled strange, like something old and forgotten. I found the bathroom, washed my face, and came back out. As I was walking back to the living room, I saw a door at the end of the hallway. It was slightly open. It looked like it led to the basement. But something inside me said, "Don't go there," so I didn't. When I got back to the living room, I saw that Ravi wasn't there. I looked around. "Ravi?" I called. No answer. I thought maybe he had gone to the kitchen, so I walked over and looked inside. The kitchen light was on, but the room was empty, no Ravi. I called again, louder this time. "Ravi, where are you?" Still no answer. Then I noticed something on the floor. Wet footprints. But these weren't from our shoes. These were small bare feet, like a child's. The footprints were leading away from the kitchen, toward the basement door. My heart started to beat faster. I followed the footprints slowly. They stopped at the basement door, the same door I saw earlier. This time it was wide open. I stood there, staring into the darkness below. I couldn't see anything. The basement looked like a black hole. Suddenly I heard something. A whisper. It was soft, like a child's voice. I couldn't understand the words, but it was coming from the basement. I turned around to ask Mira about Ravi, but she was gone too. She wasn't in the living room. She wasn't in the kitchen. The whole house felt different now. The warm fire felt cold. The walls seemed darker. The lights were dimmer. It felt like the house itself was watching me. I walked back into the hallway, calling for Ravi again and again. And then I heard it. A creaking sound from the basement. I stood there, not knowing what to do. I wanted to run out of the house, but the rain was still pouring outside, and I didn't know where to go in the dark. I took a deep breath. I had to find Ravi. I slowly stepped toward the basement door and peeked down. I couldn't see anything. It was like looking into a deep tunnel with no end. I found a candle on a table nearby and lit it. The flame flickered as I held it up and began walking down the steps. Each step I took made a loud sound. Creak, creak, creak. I reached the bottom. What I saw there, I will never forget. The basement was filled with photos. Hundreds of them, stuck to the walls, hanging from the ceiling. All showing different people, men, women, children. They all looked scared, and then, right in the middle of the wall, I saw a photo of Ravi and me. The same clothes, the same expressions, the same day. But how? Who took this photo? My hand started shaking. Then I heard the voice again. This time it was clear. "He won't come back," it said. "She keeps us here. Forever." So I was in the basement of that strange old house. The rain was still falling hard outside, but now it felt like I was in a different world. The light from the candle in my hand flickered. I was breathing fast. My heart was beating loudly in my chest. All around me were photos, hundreds of them. They were stuck to the walls, hanging from strings, and even lying on the floor. I looked at the faces in the pictures. Some were kids, some were old people, some were couples. All of them looked scared or sad. No one was smiling. And then I saw it. A photo of me and Ravi. We were wearing the same clothes we had on that day. The same day. The same expressions. We hadn't taken any photos. No one had a camera. So, how was this picture here? My hands were shaking now. My throat felt dry. The air in the basement was cold and heavy. Suddenly I heard something behind me. A soft voice. A whisper. She watches. She waits. I turned quickly. There was a boy standing in the corner. He looked around 10 years old. His clothes were wet. His skin was pale and gray, like he had been in the rain for days. His eyes were big, dark, and empty. I knew at once. This boy was not alive. But he didn't try to scare me. He looked at me with a sad face. She brings people here. People like you, he said. Once you enter, she doesn't let you leave. I wanted to ask more, but my voice wouldn't come out. I just stared at him, frozen. He pointed to the wall of photos. All of them came here. All of them stayed. Forever. I took a step back. My mind couldn't believe what I was hearing. I need to find my friend, I said, finally speaking. Have you seen him? The boy slowly nodded. She has him. Now, he's not gone yet. But he will be. Unless you leave. Right now. I'm not leaving without him, I said. The boy looked down. Then she'll take you too. Just then, I heard footsteps, slow, heavy, coming down the stairs. I held up the candle and looked at the stairs. It was Mira. But something was wrong. She looked different. Her face didn't look old anymore. It looked dry and cracked, like old paper. Her eyes were no longer brown. They were completely black. No light in them at all. She walked slowly, like something from a nightmare. You shouldn't be down here, she said in a voice that sounded deep and strange. Where's my friend? I asked loudly. She smiled, but it was not a friendly smile. He's where all the others are. You'll be with him soon. I stepped back, ready to run, but behind me, I felt something grab my arm. It was cold, like ice. I turned and saw more people, faces I didn't recognize. But they looked like the people in the photos. They were ghosts. All around me now. I couldn't breathe. I was trapped. Mira raised her hand, and all the ghosts moved closer. Their mouths were open, but they didn't speak. Their eyes were empty, but full of pain. And then, the boy stepped in front of me. Run, he whispered. I'll hold her off. You still have a chance. I didn't know what to do, but my legs moved on their own. I ran. I ran past the ghosts, past Mira, and up the stairs. As I reached the top, the candle went out. The house above was dark. No lights, no fire, no sound. I ran to the front door, but it was gone. Where the door had been was now just a wall. No way out. I turned, and Mira was standing in the hallway again. Only now she wasn't pretending. She looked like a monster. Her skin was falling off. Her eyes glowed. Her fingers were long, sharp, like claws. You knocked, she growled. You entered. You stay, I screamed. but no one could hear me. The house swallowed my voice like it swallowed everything else. So, I was trapped inside the house. There was no door, no way out. The room that once felt warm and safe now felt like a cage. The fire was gone. The walls were darker. The smiling old lady was gone, too. What stood in front of me now wasn't human anymore. Mira, or whatever she really was, stared at me with glowing black eyes. Her skin was dry and cracking. Her mouth twisted into a smile that made my heart freeze. Her long fingers curled like claws. "You knocked," she hissed, "and now you belong here." I backed away, my feet slipping on the wooden floor. I didn't know where Ravi was. I didn't know if he was still alive. I only knew one thing. I had to get out. I remembered the boy in the basement. He had said I still had a chance. That meant there had to be a way. I turned and ran down the hallway. Mira screamed behind me. Her voice didn't sound human anymore. It sounded like many voices at once, loud and broken, like wind through shattered glass. Doors slammed shut as I ran past. Them. The house was trying to trap me, but I kept moving. I ran into a room and locked the door. It was dark inside, but my eyes adjusted. I saw something strange on the wall. It looked like a drawing made by a child. Crayons and rough shapes. It showed a picture of a house and two people standing outside it. Below it were 4 words written in a shaky hand. "Find the hidden door." My heart raced. Was it a message? From one of the trapped children? I looked around quickly. There was only one small table, an old shelf, and a bed. I pulled everything away from the wall, hoping to find something. And then I saw it. A square cut into the wooden wall. It was covered by old wallpaper. I tore it off. Behind it was a small door, just big enough to crawl through. I didn't think. I just opened it and climbed in. It was a tight space, like a tunnel. I crawled for what felt like forever. My hands hurt from the wooden floor. My knees were bleeding, but I kept going. Finally, I saw a light. It was coming from a hole at the end of the tunnel. I pushed it open, and I was outside. The rain hit my face again. Cold, sharp, real. I stood up and looked around. The house was still behind me, but it looked different now. Abandoned. The lights were gone. The windows were broken. The door hung open. It looked like no one had lived there for years, but I was out. I was free, or so I thought. I ran back to the road. My legs were weak, but I kept moving. And then I saw Ravi. He was standing near the broken car, soaking wet. He looked confused, tired, but alive. "Ravi!" I shouted and ran to him. He turned and looked at me. I don't remember anything," he said. "I was inside, and then I wasn't. I felt cold, like I was asleep. I didn't have time to explain. I told him, 'We have to leave, now.' Luckily, a truck was passing by. I waved like a madman. The driver stopped, and we both climbed in. We didn't talk much on the ride. We were just glad to be safe." The rain slowed down. The forest ended. Lights from the town started to show in the distance. But just when I thought it was really over, the truck driver spoke. "That old house," he said. "People say it burned down 30 years ago. No one lives there now. Hasn't for a long time." I felt cold all over again. "Then how?" Ravi whispered. We looked at each other. The driver kept talking. "People who go there don't always come back." I looked out the window, trying not to think. But then, I noticed something in my jacket pocket. It was a photo. I pulled it out. Slowly, it showed me. And Ravi, standing in the house. Same clothes, same faces, same night. Only this time, there was something else in the photo, too. Mira, standing behind us. smiling. That's the end of my story. Or maybe it's only the beginning, because some places never let you go, even when you think you've escaped.